Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida, the home of News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. This is Bucs Bonus on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the divisional round of playoffs, and it is a rematch of Week 6. How can Tampa Bay stop a productive, high-powered Lions offense led by Jared Goff? And what did Tampa Bay learn from the Eagles game, and how can they use it this weekend? We tell you all that and more right here, right now on Bucs Bonus. I'm your host, Eileen Natchuk, alongside my teammates and your Bucs insiders, Dan Lucas and Karen Loftus. Hello.
Happy divisional round.
Hello,
Here we
hello.
are.
Woo. Look, cry, Eagles cry, bye, Eagles bye, whatever you want to say. It was an absolute beatdown. Thoughts on the game, guys? Go.
Poor Coach Sirianni was leaving the field, and the Eagles fans were throwing popcorn. That was the big thing in Philly, the popcorn throwing. It even made its way down here. The poor guy couldn't get off the field. Oh, Lord. And then I'll stay on the Eagles side again. I know I'm sentimental. Jason Kelce, at the end of the game, the longtime center, one of the greats, holding back his emotions. So it would, like, any football fan would see that, and you're reveling in the Bucs, what the Bucs have just accomplished. Felt for the guy. I love the old guard, and so that was kind of cool. But that was about as good of a beatdown as I've seen the Bucs dish out in a long time. And I'll tell you, they had it coming. They had it coming. So it was good to see, and they talked about it. Everything they did. They talked about doing.
Yeah.
And we're like, and all week, what do we say? Well, it's great, but you got to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, and that's the kind of stuff that builds confidence.
Yeah,
when
it
you
does.
talk all week about we need to contain the run game, especially when their quarterback has an injured hand, it's like, okay, well, let's contain the run game, make them pass. The way they drew up their defense and the way they only surrendered 42 total rush yards. I mean, Philly only had 17 rush yards in the first half.
Yeah.
So that's an example of this is what we need to do, execute it.
Getting up 10-0 impacted that offense, and the Eagles offense tremendously because they weren't running well, and now they're down 2 scores, and they were already chasing the game.
Fast start, key.
Yes.
And then I've mentioned the sustaining of the drives.
Correct.
When you're getting a 5-minute drive, a 6-minute drive, you're keeping their defense out on the field, and you're proving that you're methodically moving down the field any which way you wanted to. So
I think the A.J. Brown injury for Philly really had an impact on the game.
Leading receiver.
And then it was late.
Jalen's
It was
throwing hand.
Yeah, but defensively for them later in the game, it was sad to see Darius Slay, another veteran.
Devontae Smith did get his yards, by the way.
Have to leave the way he did. Yes, he did get his yards. But like you said, the last time they ran the ball here, DeAndre Swift was 130, I think it was.
I can look that up. Yeah,
and
it was a
I
lot.
just remember him leaping over a Bucs player on one play, and it was just so ugly. This was the opposite of that. It was just absolute beauty for Bucs fans.
32 points. I mean, this is, again, the other thing that they were talking about is like, we are a totally different team. And to be able to show that in sustained drives, 32 points, and then coming away from it and thinking that we should have even found the end zone more times. On that opening drive, I thought this was going to be the time.
6 drop balls in that first half, too. You have to think about how they were able to pull out such a dominating win. And 6 drop passes. I mean,
this could have been a blowout
early.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely right.
Let's talk about what they can use in this game moving forward when playing the Lions. What do you guys think?
Well, I like the fact that we got to see the wide receiver depth at its best, and we got to see everyone at their strengths. Trey Palmer. Now, there was a missed tackle on the play, but he took advantage of that. No one is catching Trey Palmer. And that play went 56 yards, I think.
Longest in Longest
Postseason
receiving
history.
touchdown in postseason history
That was
for
an
the Bucs.
absolute dagger, and all Trey Palmer did was his skill set.
Listen,
speed.
I saw him turn across the field, and I tweeted this too. I was like,
Gone.
as soon as
He's
he cut,
gone.
he saw the open
Yes.
field. He's like,
Yeah.
nobody
Right.
catching me. That's what I was like. Nobody's catching him.
And the fact that he tweeted, woke up pissed off.
He's
Right.
tweeted that the
Yeah,
past
he did.
several weeks
Yes.
before the
Yeah,
games.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I was
finally
very-
worked.
I was very
He's,
happy to
it
see.
broke through.
Very happy to see David Moore get big play and get a touchdown there, and again more missed tackles on that. But
Good birthday
I mean,
present for him.
this
Give me
group-
Cody Mauch.
this group is now legitimately 4 or 5 deep, and then you throw in K. Otten, who's really been reliable.
Yes.
And if 3 of them and K. Otten's not available, what do you have? You got Rashad White to chuck it to. It's just become a better offense since the
And-
last time they played.
And Chase McLaughlin.
Yes.
Every time.
Oh, you're-
Isn't like what?
Todd Bowles, by the way, gets-
21 straight?
Yes.
Literally makes 50 plus look like an extra
Insane.
point.
Man,
54.
I think he's
Money.
the best kicker in the league.
Money.
I'm banned from talking about Chase McLaughlin because Todd Bowles demanded that I not talk about him.
Why?
I went to ask him about
What
him
did he
once.
say?
He said, I'll do my best, Todd Bowles. I don't like to talk about the kickers because I just jinxed them.
Oh, true.
Oh,
And I
okay,
said-
now that's going to be
All
me.
And I
fair,
said,
yeah, fair
uh,
balls. Yeah, Karen and I retract
go,
our statements.
Okay.
I go,
what was I
okay.
saying about
Moving
Chris
on.
Godwin?
I don't know.
Moving on.
Yeah.
If he heard I was talking about Chase McLaughlin, I would hear about it.
Okay.
Well, you know,
I
who's-
had not received that directive, but
Okay.
I will.
No. He said personally.
Okay.
He goes, I don't do it. He
We're
did
just
that.
trying to give credit where credit's due right now.
Yeah.
Wow,
So.
I can tell you.
moving forward, we're
a
gonna
tremendous
we're gonna
season.
stop giving
Tremendous.
we're gonna stop giving credit. But you know who
Total
is-
team effort.
Yeah, who's not gonna stop giving credit to this Bucs team is say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Buckified.
Buckified.
Bert.
Hello, Eileen, the Bucs Bonus crew, Dan and Karen. Hey, it's the Buccafied Bert. And I just want to let you guys know that I am so happy that the Buccaneers beat the Eagles because it's a prediction that I had when we lost to them from last week. We lost to them on week 3, and we came back and beat them in the playoff, and we eliminated their season. There are 8 teams left, and they was talking about we wouldn't have no more than 1 or 2 wins. But guess what? Out of the 32 teams, 8 teams left, and the Buccaneers are one of those teams. Now, this is awesome. Why? Because we going up there to play Detroit, and Detroit know that they beat us the last time. Yeah, but we got what it takes. We ain't play like the way we played back then. We playing better football right about now. Baker Mayfield is really shaking and baking. Everybody is doing well. We fired up, and we fired up. We can't nobody stop the Buccaneers. We are on our way to the Super Bowl. And I told y'all about this in September. And now I'm telling you, I'm 2 games away. And ain't nobody gonna stop it. This week, the Detroit Lions, they're going down. And Tampa Bay is gonna be there because Lightning are gonna be playing as well as the Bucs in Detroit. So yeah, we're coming at you Tampa Bay style. Now get ready for Casey Sloan. She's gonna give you the stats of the week. The Buccafied and the new outfit, the Bugatti outfit. Oh yeah, it's really working. It's getting the job done. Yeah, Casey Sloan gonna give you all of the stats. So hey, I'm out of here. Buccafied.
Hey guys, well, it was electric in Tampa Bay on Monday night after the Bucs shut out the Eagles 32-9, and the Bucs wildcard victory and their quarterback is all anyone can talk about, so let's get into it. Baker Mayfield completed 22 of 36 passes for 337 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, earning him a 119.8 passer rating. He became the first quarterback in club history to throw for 300 or more yards and 3 or more passing touchdowns in a postseason contest. His passer rating is also the second highest mark in a postseason game in franchise history, trailing only Tom Brady's 125.8 mark in the 2021 Super Bowl. While Mayfield is no stranger to this segment, the quarterback's stellar performance on Monday night makes him this week's Casey's Stat Chat Player of the Week. And hopefully we can continue this into next week. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, no doubt Baker Mayfield's going off recently. Speaking of, you can check out Casey's article on him on our website at WFLA.com. Has Baker found his forever home? Quarterback finally getting the recognition he deserves after a wild card win, guys. I'll tell you, Buckified, he called this since the beginning of time. He believed in his team the entire time. He had no doubts, and I'm sure this man is celebrating every single day, not just Victory Mondays or Tuesdays.
Well, think about it this way. If they beat the Lions this week, every team remaining in the NFC is a team they've played this year.
Yeah, that's true.
So they've got film, no matter who they play.
And a lot of the guys, they say that too. We've asked them, would you rather face a team that you haven't or have, which kind of sounds like a silly question, but it's really not. You know what I mean? When you think about it, and all of them have said, they've either said, well, whoever we get, we're going to play to our best ability. Or they've said 100%, we watch the film and it's easier to go off of a team you've already played. But with the Lions, guys, what do you think is the biggest challenge that they're up against?
Protect Baker. The Lions pass rush. I mentioned Aiden Hutchinson in the last game in October.
Who didn't do much.
Didn't do much statistically. Todd Bowles reminded me, well, we did only score 6 points. But the Lions pass rush against Baker, that's something to watch out for. And Hutchinson, who is on all cylinders. He had a really good game against the Rams last weekend.
He's been going off recently.
He's the guy to watch. And we advertised it back then.
Yeah, I remember talking about him a lot, for sure.
So he's the guy. He's in the handful of game wreckers that are out there on defense, like Watt for the Steelers. He is that kind of player for the Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny. So you bring up like protecting Baker and stuff. It speaks to how well they played this last week that we went that whole segment without mentioning his ribs and ankle injury. But he is still battling rib and ankle injuries.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, I know you've got
you
that.
Like that?
Oh,
it up
there we
for
go.
Ya.
She teed it up, and I was that was a good one.
Okay, so injury report. Just had a walkthrough today, so these are the projected participations. But Baker was full participation.
Great news.
Still listed. Ankle and ribs are both still listed. And then you had several players who did not participate. Shaq, Yaya, Chris Godwin, and Edmonds. The most notable one for me was Yaya. Like I specifically remember him getting hurt in that game, his shoulder. I can't recall the other guys, though.
What was the tight end for the Lions? Sam Laporta.
Yeah,
is he
rookie.
Is he on there?
Oh, let's see.
He has a lingering knee issue.
He was full.
Okay, so it has been a debilitating thing for him, and he's worked his way back. And some were wondering if he was coming back a little bit sooner than he should. Last week he had a touchdown catch, so I would presume he's feeling fine.
Also, looking at the Lions, Alex Anzalone's on there. He was limited. I don't think he played the last time, but he is a linebacker that is a force. I covered him when he was with the Saints, and he is a very good player.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson, that's going to be a
speaking of
Baker,
Saints,
he reminded us.
Speaking of Saints, now playing for the Lions, your guy CJ, had something to say.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Before the game, being a little critical of the Bucs.
You know how he is. He'll
say whatever. He put on his New Orleans cap. Good for him. Good for him.
What do you say, Dan?
I'll paraphrase because I don't want to get put words in anyone's mouth here. But he was criticizing, and he wasn't criticizing. He was complimenting the Bucs receiver core, describing them as one of the best in the game, and it led to him saying, boy, if they had a quarterback or a real quarterback, boy, they could really be something.
I'll tell you what, Baker gave the best response.
Well,
though.
that's he gave the best response. The flaw was he mentioned Evans, Godwin, and Russell Gage in his statement. So then Baker offered his retort. Yeah. Eileen, what was his retort?
He said, look, he kind of said it with a smirk too, till he was like, I guess he doesn't watch much film because Russell Gage hasn't played for us all year. I guess he's basing this off of preseason film, but he's a good player. He's a good player, and I was just in the back like, just like wow, that was iconic. Well done, Baker.
I don't want to belittle CJ, but for me,
CJ's a dog.
Whenever you think of going up against these mouthy defensive backs, for me it was always Marshawn Lattimore and Josh Norman. Those are the two guys, and everybody else is an actor. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it paints the picture too, and these types of things are fun, right? This is what makes sports fun when you have those rivalries and talk back and forth. But here's an interesting thing for me when I think about these two teams going up against each other. They both see themselves as underdogs. They both thrive as underdogs. the Bucs are underdogs going into this game, but who really is the team that is proving? You know what I mean?
Bucs.
You
the
think
Bucs
so?
are the underdog.
That's what I think too.
Right now, and this, I'll in the Bucs lean. If I'll lean the Bucs direction, the Lions have a ton of pressure on them right now.
Yeah.
They're the darlings of football right now. They just had a historic win last week. They're putting a lot of stuff behind them, bad history. So a lot of mojo. I think this might be the most expensive ticket in the NFC Divisional Round ever. So it's going to be an insane atmosphere in Ford Field. And the Lions might be, even compared to the 49ers, might be playing the best football right now of all of the teams that are left in the postseason.
No, they're hot right now.
And sidebar, I want to correct myself. So not only did Alex Anzalone play last time, I was wrong about that. He was not out. He actually led the Lions in tackles the last time they played. So I had to correct myself on that. So if he was limited. So if he's able to play or not, something to watch.
So the point spread was, I didn't check it today, 6. It was 6 yesterday coming out of the Eagles game. So
the matchup predictor on ESPN is 62.5 for Lions and 37.5 for Bucs.
Right. So the numbers were a little
6.5.
The numbers were a little better last week against the Eagles, but the Eagles were still the favored team in that matchup, and that game was never really that
I think
close.
we all thought the Bucs were going to beat the Eagles, but I tell Dan and Kieran this all the time, guys. I'm like, I'm so done thinking someone's going to win or someone's going to lose because the other
so
thing
unpredictable.
happens.
Yeah.
I know, very
Just gotta
unpredictable.
let it play out.
Yeah, high
feel-
blood pressure at all times.
It's almost like when you play your division games. You know, you play the team twice, so you get the especially if you play a division game early in the season and then the return games not till the end. This is a classic case of these two teams aren't the same as they were in the middle of October.
Right.
And if one team was really on all cylinders back then, it was Detroit. The Bucs were in the middle of a skid. So not only were they not playing well, they were still not – they hadn't come together, particularly offensively. The Bucs are a completely different team. I don't know what the Lions learned from watching that game. I really don't. The Bucs were that out of sorts.
Total different
And
team.
just contextually in the season, if you all remember, that was coming out of the bye week, and that was the beginning of their 4-game skid.
Right.
Yeah.
The Bucco
I
Bruce
remember
curse.
that, yep.
You know, we had fun, didn't we, with the orange jerseys?
We
that week?
did, man. I'm still kind of sad about it. It was just such an awesome atmosphere. I went home and cried.
Right.
No. Well, hopefully we're not crying next week and we're talking about a win. Thank you guys for joining us. We're here every single Wednesday. Listen on Apple, Spotify, watch on YouTube. We are here talking everything Bucs for you on Bucs Bonus every Wednesday. So we'll see you guys next week.